The flames roared behind me, a living beast consuming everything I had ever known, and all I could think was that I had finally set myself free. I looked down at my hands, trembling as I stared at the blood caked on them. It wasn't mine. The infernos of destruction before me were etched into my mind, a haunting reminder of what I'd done. I hadn't meant for this to happen. I was just so tired of the pain and misery my parents inflicted on us. The acrid smell of smoke lingered in the air, ashes swirling like ghostly apparitions in the night sky, carried by the warm breeze from the flames consuming our home. No one had to know the truth about this tragedy. Could be dismissed as an appliance malfunction. But deep down, I knew the truth was far more sinister. Calvin lay unconscious beside me, his breathing shallow. I bent down and cradled him in my arms, my heart heavy with guilt and desperation. He shouldn't have to endure this, but soon, everything would be okay. Or so I hoped. Okay. A word that seemed so distant, so unattainable. Was anything ever truly okay? The sound of sirens echoed in the distance, a chilling reminder that time was running out. We had to leave. Now, the hotel room was dark and foreboding, shadows dancing across the walls as if alive. The isolation was suffocating, the silence broken only by the occasional creak of the floorboards. I felt a chill run down my spine, as if unseen eyes were watching us. Calvin stirred, opening his pale lavender eyes to find himself in an unfamiliar bed. He glanced at me, confusion and fear flickering in his gaze. "Are you okay?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper, as if speaking too loudly would awaken something lurking in the shadows. "Where are we?" he asked, his voice trembling. "A hotel," I replied, trying to keep my voice steady. "We had to get away." "From what?" Calvin's brow furrowed, suspicion creeping into his eyes. "The past," I said, my words heavy with unspoken truths. The room felt colder, the air thick with an unexplainable presence. I glanced around, half expecting to see ghostly figures emerging from the walls. We weren't alone, and the realization sent a shiver through me. "I've seen them hit you," Calvin said suddenly, his voice breaking the oppressive silence. His words were like a knife, cutting through the facade I'd tried to maintain. I froze, my heart pounding in my chest. "What?" "I heard the screams," he continued, his voice barely audible. "I pretended I didn't, but I did." The memories flooded back, vivid and painful. The bruises, the fear, the nights spent huddled in the dark, hoping the nightmare would end. I looked at Calvin, seeing the same haunted look in his eyes. "I didn't want you to find out," I admitted, my voice cracking. "Too late," he said, tears glistening in his eyes. "I've always known." A sudden noise made us both jump, a soft, eerie whisper that seemed to come from nowhere. I felt the hairs on the back of my neck stand up, my instincts screaming that we were in danger. "We need to leave," I said urgently, grabbing Calvin's hand. "Now." "Where are we going?" he asked, fear lacing his voice. "Anywhere but here," I replied, my mind racing. I didn't know what awaited us outside, but staying was no longer an option. As we hurried out of the room, I couldn't shake the feeling that something, or someone, was following us. The shadows seemed to stretch and twist, forming shapes that defied explanation. I glanced back, but the hallway was empty, save for the oppressive darkness. We only had each other, and as we stepped into the unknown, I could only hope that it would be enough. As we moved deeper into the darkness, I could feel the weight of our past pressing down on us, mingling with the shadows that danced just out of sight. The air was thick with unspoken fears and the promise of what lay ahead. Would we find safety, or would the ghosts of our past catch up with us? The uncertainty gnawed at my insides, but one thing was clear: we were not alone. If you enjoyed our harrowing journey and crave more chilling tales that blur the line between reality and the supernatural, don't forget to subscribe for more creepypasta stories. Join us as we delve into the depths of fear, where every shadow holds a secret and every whisper could be the last.